Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Richard and welcome back to the TraderLion channel. And today I'll be talking about the relative strength phase concept, which is extremely useful during a market correction in helping identify those potential leaders and stocks that are outperforming the market currently. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about my overall chart layout. Simple price and volume, a few key moving averages here. Then I've got the relative strength line here in blue and the overall market, the SPX, in gray here. So this relative strength line in blue is calculated by dividing the price of the stock divided by the price of the SPX at that given time. So the value of this line does not matter, but the trend suggests whether the stock is outperforming or underperforming the market at that instant. So if the stock is outperforming, we'll see an uptrending relative strength line over that period. And if we see it declining, that means the stock was underperforming the market. So either the market was increasing, the stock was going sideways or down, or just in general, the market was increasing more than that stock. So what's key here and what you need to remember is we want to look for relative strength phases. And that is when the relative strength line is increasing when the overall market is going sideways or declining. So right here, we've got the start of relative strength phase right here. And when the market was starting its most recent correction, you can see this line was still pretty much going sideways, then increases, and we're in a relative strength phase currently. And to help identify when the stock is outperforming over a certain period, I think it's really helpful to add a moving average to that RS line. And that's exactly what I've done here in TC2000. And you can do this in TradingView, whatever charting software you use, you should be able to do this. And basically, if the stock's relative strength line is increasing above an increasing moving average, the stock is in a relative strength phase if the overall market is pulling back or going sideways. So here we've got an example with Alcoa Corporation, ticker symbol AA. And what we're looking for is basically for the stock to show up performance before a base breakout, or if it's already outside of a base, to look for opportunities during that trend if we are still in a relative strength phase. So here we've got the market consolidating, going sideways, and then we see it push up the right-hand side of its base, start to outperform and break out. And then even as it goes sideways and looks like it's actually underperforming, if you look at the relative strength line, it's still increasing because the overall market was really pulling back and selling off here. And this stock was still trying to fight that overall downtrend, buck the trend, and outperform. So here it resets and has another little bit of a short consolidation before taking off and trending above its moving averages. So this relative strength line is really helpful in identifying the stocks that are bucking the overall trend and showing relative strength. And bringing up another example, I think Exxon Mobil is an interesting case study here. Once again, we've got the same chart layout. And right at this point is where the stock really starts to outperform even as the market is starting to sell off. So this is the start of the relative strength phase as the market is pulling in and the stock starts trending above a rising 21 EMA on its relative strength line. And if you look at the price action, you can see the clear change in character, huge push up. And also let me unhide volume here, nice push and increase on volume. And this is what starts a nice trend here above the 21 EMA. Let's go ahead and draw that base breakout. So this started relative strength phase before it actually broke out of its base, and you can see it's really outperforming and actually setting up another base here even as it stays within this relative strength phase. So once again, look for consolidations where the stock continues to outperform, or as it starts moving up the right hand side, you see that relative strength phase start to occur. Moving on, we've got another example, ticker symbol ZIM, Zim Integrated Shipping Services, and you can see that this has pretty much been in a relative strength phase going back to the 22nd of December, even as it was still moving up towards the top of the base here, moving up the right-hand side. And you can see it had a breakout, a fake out. And even though it pulled back pretty dramatically, it still stayed within that relative strength phase because of how bad the market was correcting and how much this was outperforming versus all the other stocks in that index. So this is what you want to look for. Right near the base pivot is outperformance. And even right now, it's staying nicely within its trend and setting up another consolidation, broke through a pivot today. And you can see it's actually making relative strength new highs before price, which is another key characteristic we look for. And talking through one last example, we've got Arch Resources. And you can see that this begins the relative strength phase right here on the 14th of December. As the overall market is pulling in, we have a nice push above the 21 EMA of the RS line. And this coincides pretty much with a little bit of a low cheat entry here in the bottom third of the base. Then it continues to push up here, the right-hand side, break out, and then have another consolidation, pull back to the 21 EMA area, form another pivot right here, and now also break out back into all-time highs on huge volume and kind of accelerate to the upside. So this showed relative strength before this breakout as well as this prior setup. So this is always what you want to be looking for when you're going through charts. Look for that relative strength phase. Look for the RS line to be above a rising 21 EMA. So that's pretty much it for the relative strength phase. I think this is a very useful characteristic to be on the lookout for. And once again, you want to look for a rising RS line when the overall market is pulling back or consolidating, and that could be the hallmark of a future winner. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Thanks.